Welcome to GetXAML. In this video, you'll understand the concept of what is ROC and AUC, and then the bias variance trade-off. So let's begin. So to begin with, what is this ROC? ROC means receiver operating characteristics curve. We put a curve for it, okay? Line graph. AUC indicates area under this ROC curve. Area under curve. Which curve? This ROC curve. So what is this concept? Before going to understand, just recap the confusion matrix. So we already know the confusion matrix gives the labels or data for or the rates for positive and negatives, false positive, false negative, true positive, true negative. So this is how you divide our confusion matrix. This rows indicates actual or true values. The columns indicate the predicted value. Okay, so let us take an example of detecting an email. Detecting an email as spam or not spam. Now the confusion matrix, we write it like this. This gives true positive, false negative, then false positive, true negative. So what this actually means? See, true positive means actual email. So let us write here, this is spam, this is not spam. This is spam and not spam. So let us take positive means spam, that is we are detecting the spam, whether the mail is spam or not. So let us indicate the positive as positive. In our case is, we take it as spam. Spam means it's a positive classification, correct. So actual spam is also predicted spam, so that is true positive. Actual spam, but it is predicted as not spam, so it is false negative. So not spam is negative, so and then spam is predicted as not spam, so it's false negative. Similarly, not spam predicted as spam is false positive, and then not spam predicted as not spam is true negative. Negative means not spam is predicted correctly, so true negative. Now we already seen many terms here, but we will only use this recall. You know that recall, also called as TPR, true positive rate. True positive rate is nothing but this, true positive divided by true positive plus false negative. So this is true positive divided by true positive plus false negative. And then we also calculate FPR, false positive rate. So this is false positive out of this. So this is false positive divided by false positive plus true negative. So what this recall or true positive rate is giving? It is saying the share of how many actual spam are predicted as spam. How many actual? It means share. This is the share. They are predicted. Actual spams are predicted as spam. So that is true positive divided by true positive plus false negative. Similarly, false positive is given as false positive, or this is also called as false alarm rate divided by false positive plus true negative. So this gives share of or probability of how many not spam predicted as spam. Okay. So now we'll come to this ROC curve. The ROC curve is, to begin with, it's a very simple thing. Receiver operating characteristic curve. You plot a graph, FPR versus TPR. Okay. Why it is used, I'll come to that later with an example. So if you plot something, we'll get a curve like this. This is called as the ROC curve. ROC curve. Each point on this curve, each point corresponding to FPR, this is a point here. This is corresponding to TPR. This point, each point on this curve indicates a threshold and it works for binary classifier. Binary classifier. That is the concept of ROC. So you take the false positive rate versus true positive rate and plot the graph. Every point on this ROC curve, what you get is indicates a threshold for binary classifier. That means what? Whether I have to accept or reject. Binary means what? Only two outcomes are possible. So I am giving you a threshold. So what it means, above this threshold, you take some action. So above the threshold means here. Below this threshold, there is something. Okay, you classify it as other class or the positive class or a negative class. So what this threshold helps? This threshold helps us to do this binary classifier. Why? Let us take an example to understand. So let us say a sample of these emails, and then we know their say true value, actual value, and then we have this scores. Some classifier got some scores. First the emails E1, E2, E3, and E4 emails sample I have given. So the true value was say spam, spam, not spam, and not spam. And say that the score got was say 0.95, 0.70, 0.60, and 0.10. Okay. Now, suppose say that I will set my threshold. Threshold say is equal to 0.90. So what it means? Any score above 0.90, I will classify it as spam. That is my threshold. Below this, I will mark it as not spam. Now, if you calculate the true positive rate, so true positive rate is true positive divided by true positive plus false negative. Okay. Now, for this example, what is the true positive? See, there is, if I set the threshold 90, so that is, this is threshold. Now, how many are classified as spam? True positive. Because in this example, positive means you are detecting it as spam. Spam indicates positive. So, true positive rate is true positive. How many are true positive? This was spam, actual spam, and detected as spam because threshold is above 0.9. The score is 95 here. So, I'll consider this one. There is only one. Out of how many? There are two spams. Okay, there are two spams, but have classified it as one. So, true positive rate is 1 by 2. So, this is 0.5. Similarly, the false positive rate for the same threshold. False positive means not spam. How many are not spam? 2. And if you observe, how many of you are detecting as false positive? In this threshold, none of them are detected as false positive. False positive means what? Predicted spam. Okay, predicted not spam, actual spam. Okay, or actual not spam. So, how many are there? 0. So, this will give me 0. If I plot the ROC curve for this threshold, you can calculate for only one threshold. Like that, you can calculate for many threshold. So, FPR, the maximum value is 1. Here also the maximum value is 1 for TPR. So, what it says, so this is the origin 0, 0. Now, where is this point? The FPR is 0 and then corresponding TPR is 0.5, 0.5 here. This is the point. So, similarly, by varying the threshold, I will get a say some curve, something like this, something I may get. Okay. So, this gives the different thresholds at different points. So, a curve may be like this also. So, every point gives some threshold. That gives us the flexibility. Gives us the flexibility to properly classify. So, if I reduce the threshold here, say for example 0.6, if I make it 0.6, I will get different values for TPR and FPR and then give the different threshold on my graph. So, that gives me the flexibility to classify and then judge the accuracy of the model. That is the concept of the ROC. Now, what is the concept of this AUC, area under the curve? Area under the ROC curve. So, what it helps us to give? It helps us to give a single measure, or it gives that single measure will gives me the ranking ability. So, in the previous one, I got the threshold. I can adjust the threshold and get the different values for true positive and false positive. Okay, again, this the model becomes flexible. How to choose this threshold? So based on the threshold, I can test the accuracy, spam or not spam detection. So what is the goal here? Helps us to find this threshold. How can I choose 0.9? On what basis do I choose 0.9? Or if I want to choose 0.75, so that on that basis. So if I choose, for example, 0.9, the threshold, that means what? 50%. 50% is the almost accuracy, because some mails are even actual were spam, they are predicted as not spam because the threshold is very high. If I put the threshold too low, then all of the spams, all of the good mails are detected as spams, false positive will be high. So that is the concept here. So how can you choose the threshold using the ROC curve? Now this ranking ability, so that is whatever assigning, that is the ranking ability. If you can get calculate the area under this ROC curve, I will get this AUC, area under curve, give the single measure, will give some single value which will quantify, okay, how good is that measure. So this is the curve ROC, then the area under this curve, whatever area I will get under this curve is nothing but a AUC, which will give me a single value. Okay, will give me a single value which gives us the ranking ability, that is classifying ability. Now, there are some concepts here. If you observe the graphs, based on this area, we can tell how good the model is. So, this is my FPR and this is my PPR. Suppose say the original curve is like this ROC curve. The curve may be like this also. In our example, we are getting like this, like a step function. So, it may be like this in the green color. A curve or a line can also be like this. Now, if you calculate the areas under each of these. So in the green curve, to calculate the area, under the green curve like this, we'll get it as area under the curve for the green line as 1. So that is the perfect model. If I get the ROC curve like this in the green color, right? So that is the perfect model. If I get this red line, so I say find the area under this red line. So I'll get the AUC as 0.5 half. That means 50%. So any ROC curve below this is the worst model fit. Okay, 50% is the midline. Now what is our goal? Our goal should this ROC curve should move this side for better model. That is the concept of AUC. So you would fix your threshold such that it moves toward these lines. Okay, that is the concept of area under curve. Now we will see the bias variance trade-off. What is bias variance trade-off? You already know the concept. So in a learning curve, we always have the bias variance trade-off. What is this bias? The bias is when the model is too simple. Too simple means it is not able to capture all the patterns or even simple patterns in the data. Variance means this leads to underfitting. Variance means model is too complex. The variance is very high. So it leads to, means it is sensitive to data. This leads to overfitting. Okay. So how will you get this trade-off? Let us calculate the mean square error, MSC. So how will you get? Let us see it graphically. So just say this is my actual true value, and say this is my predicted value. So this is my y, this is my x. So this is my actual, say y equal to f of x, the true value. This is my, say, estimate. So I estimate and find this your predicted value. So now I will calculate the MSC. So for the model, you are given y equal to f of x plus some random error. So this is inherit Gaussian error. This is inherent in any model or data. That is what is the consideration. You cannot remove it. So that is random noise or Gaussian error. So you know already the concept is in probability statistics. The expectation of this error is always 0 and the variance is given as the standard variance, okay, normal variance. Now, so now we know the MSE can derive it actually. It is equal to bias square plus variance plus this variance of the random noise. Okay, so this term is called, we also call it as noise or random error. So it's always inherent. So how will you write the bias square? The bias is given as, first you have to find this predicted, right? What is the expected value of this estimated or predicted curve or function? So that let us write it as mu of x estimated equal to expectation of this function. That will give me the predicted value average. So this bias square is nothing but this mu x minus the original value, true value square. This actually indicates the bias square plus variance. You already know variance is expectation of your estimated value minus your mean of that estimated value square plus this sigma square. So this is variance, the entire thing. Okay. So this is the bias variance trade-off. So what is this trade-off? For example, let us take a linear regression y equal to b naught plus beta 1 x. Now say that I am trying to fit it to a curve like this and it is a straight line like this. Okay, so this performs very bad because it's called underfitting, right? It is not able to capture all the data points. At some point it may able to capture here, but all points are not captured. So the bias is high here. To calculate this value will be very high. Okay, so that is, the model is simple. It's not able to capture all things. So it is underfitting. Suppose if I use say polynomial regression, for example, say x square. So I may somehow try to fit this curve. Okay. Let us say this original curve was like this. Then using the x square or polynomial some function, I may fit it something like this. So it's a better fit compared to my linear regression. Here it may cause overfitting or the variance will be high here because the model has become complex. So model is complex, so variance is high. So that is the trade-off between the bias and variance. So what is the optimal curve? So this is the learning curve. So this is my high variance point. This is my high bias point. So there should be a trade-off between these two. Reduce both such that I will get this optimal point. That is a trade-off point. Okay. We'll solve many problems in the next video. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and share.